Welcome everyone to the Film Vault. That's Anderson. I'm Ryan Bishop, your host for today. I'm going to bring you my most disappointing movie that I've seen in quite some time. Not even bad, actually. I would say it's good, above average, just disappointing. Ginger Snaps, boy, she snapped. Signed to us.
Two different things you're talking about there, right?
Yeah, so that is not a disappointing movie. That was brought to us, assigned to us by Danny Leffler. Am I right about that?
Danny Leffler.
Yeah, there you go. And you want to do second week in a row, Anderson?
What's that, buddy?
Break with tradition, and I'm going to Flickfest a movie in my top 5. That's right, a movie this week will make its debut on the show in the top 5 Revolties. Coming up later this week if you're listening in pieces, or all at once if you're listening all at once. Welcome to On Golden Pod.
Fucked it up.
Fucked it up.
Yeah.
You cut that out.
He was too excited.
I know, I really was.
Too excited.
I blame you for the fuck up.
That's fair.
That's right.
Who's that, Avery?
That's right.
You can blame me, too, if you like. I don't care.
Okay.
Hey.
And plenty of blame to go around.
This is going to be an interesting episode, I think.
How so?
Well, I'm privy to a couple things that I wasn't privy to last week.
Yeah, tell me.
One being a movie, which I'll talk about later. And the other, about a new show.
Oh, yeah.
I was also privy.
Interesting.
I saw it while on the privy.
Interesting.
Do you think Mo's listening?
What in they fuck? Do you understand? It must cross your little bald mind that perhaps at some point, somebody, friend of mine, family member, or wife might say, hey, you didn't tell me that your co-host of 20 years is starting a new entertainment show?
Wait a minute. You're not narcissistic. And then I was keeping it from you.
Oh, you were? Yeah, absolutely. Of course you were. It's not narcissistic.
Anderson.
Wait a minute. Do you really? Oh, here we go. Here we go. You find that to be narcissistic.
Why would I hide it? That's absurd.
So you found out about it since last week?
No.
Interesting.
No, you guys.
Interesting.
Do you ask you both a question? Do you remember?
I have yet to listen.
Most people in America have yet to listen.
I don't think it exists yet, does it?
I was about to tell you guys about my big news. I'm like, wait, I gotta go pee. I went to go pee. I came back, and you guys are walking out the door. I'm like, well, there you go.
You were with us for 4 hours.
I was about to tell you as we were wrapping up.
It was pouring rain.
That's right. You had to beat.
We had to huddle. We had to hustle out together. I was underneath this little umbrella. It was like a scene out of like Night in Paris or something out there.
I have to go home and continue working for the show.
Hey, I got some good news.
How is that narcissistic? Let's get back to that for a minute. Because, I mean, I'm a lot of things, and I was narcissistic. I'm less narcissistic now.
You think that I intentionally didn't tell you?
Well, yeah.
I know you didn't tell me.
That's true.
I mean, history
you feel personally
would
hurt
suggest that, I mean, we've had this in the past where you were out there, you were creating you had ideas, designs on creating a new film podcast, solo film podcast, many, many years ago, which I'm glad it happened because that's what led to Cinematics, which is a fantastic show.
True.
Would have never happened if not for that. But yeah,
3 weeks out of 4, it's a great show.
You and Mo, with the 1 week when I'm on is the bad show. That's right. You and Mo were like over there devising a plan to start a show.
Me and Mo,
and that led to like some anger. Like I was very upset. And
it's true.
Yeah. So
I wanted to avoid all this.
Here we are years later, and I say to my wife, I say, here's the best part. I found out about it in real time while recording the show, and my reaction will never be heard because that show never got recorded because it's on the Lost After Disaster episode from last week.
I hope you know I only tune in for mentions of me, and this is devastating.
I had to say, after my outburst many times on that episode that was never recorded because the wrong button was pushed, but I had to stop and say.
Wait, you had an outburst?
I had to stop and say many times on that episode, I love you, Brian. I love you, buddy. I said that many times because I caught myself raging. Saying many things.
Wait, in all seriousness, it's obviously not a movie podcast, but it's a. Most people who listen to the show have probably heard already, but yes, I was offered the gig to host the LA Magazine official podcast with my ex coworker Gina Grad.
Right.
And we're off and running with episodes and kind of deep dives into the magazine and interviews and talk about LA and et cetera, and have yet to bring any movie content over there, but we're going to plan on doing top 5s.
See, I
call them Movie-fessions. We're going to fest the movies we saw.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you know what? I listen to other movie podcasts, and
you should get a white producer this time.
One of which
fuck up the show
is Cinematics, which I've already
have a white producer
shamelessly plugged here on the program. But they run a lot of podcast ads on that program over there.
Oh, what show?
on cinematics. So I hear podcast ads, and there's many podcast ads for other film podcasts. And speaking of narcissistic, I had this thought. You can help me maybe. Many of these film podcasts that I hear ads for, and I've probably heard, I don't know, 24 ads for other film podcasts over the last few months. A lot of similar bits and
On ours?
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Punishing one another with movie assignments and
I'd like
Rotten
to think
Tomato
I'd like to
scoring.
think we move past the punishing stage. It's more like
You're missing the point of why I brought this up, Don. I'm saying, because we were one of the first, free-form film podcasts for many. I don't know why you'd be messing with my headphones. We've been doing this literally in the middle of talking about how long we've been doing the show when you start fucking it up with technical stuff.
Oh, we're good.
Well, no, I'm not, because you changed my level. All right. Okay, so I don't know if you turned me down on purpose, didn't you?
That's where it was.
I don't know if Tyler was fucking with me in real time when I became rageful and I was reliving the whole "Would you listen, Mo?" For those of you who listen closely and you've been listening for a long time, you understand
you
that
already
was
brought
a
that
very,
to the show.
very
Nice.
painful, very painful moment in my life with somebody who I thought I could trust. It was like hearing
What, Mo?
unique experience about. It's like talking to your significant other and then getting a phone call while it's happening about how she's cheating while she's staring into your eyes. It's a bizarre.
I don't think that's true.
It kind of felt like that. So I was reliving some of that PTSD, and I'm like, it's happening all over again. And I'm like, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care what it is,
You obviously don't.
as long as it's not a movie podcast. Sure. And then Tyler's like, let's see, it's gonna be mainly about television and movies.
No, he's
so is he fucking with me? I don't know.
Messing around with you. We have not mentioned movies or TV once.
Well, I don't know why you would, because you don't know much about either. So
I will tell you this.
that'd be tough for you.
A little behind the scenes.
Tough.
I think I met. It's been a goddamn whirlwind, and this is not an exaggeration or a joke. So I got a call. I
am curious about how the whole thing happened.
Do you know Mark? Do you know who Mark Garagos is? The lawyer
Yeah,
represented many famous people, and appears on CNN, Fox News, all those shows talking law. And he calls. He's obviously a friend from the Corolla universe, and he calls me at 8:45 a.m. on a Thursday, and he says, "Hey, I bought LA Magazine, right?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." And he said, "We're starting a podcast. I want you and
He
Gina
changed the name to LaMag, right?
Oh, yeah, LAMag.com. And he said,
called LaMag.
LaMag.
Yeah.
And I said, we're starting a podcast and we want you and Gina to host it. I said, great, thank you. Because as we all probably are vaguely familiar with, it's nice in this town to just be offered a job as opposed to having to go out and audition or have meetings or whatever it is. So
will this conflict with you doing the Corolla show?
It will actually be a perfect little fit for my new. My fun employment lasted 2 months, and it wasn't even that fun.
I don't understand.
What
fun employment?
My point, I didn't have to work for 2 months.
Oh, your fun unemployment.
Yeah, fun
employment. I've never heard that, and I don't like it.
Oh, you haven't heard that?
I don't like it. I'm gonna ask that you not bring that to the show again, please.
I didn't invent it.
It's as bad as the 20
Golden
fun
Pod.
or the 30 fun.
What's 20 fun, 30 fun?
It's like that's how old are you? 20 fun? Like they're in their fun 20s. No, it's not good though. See,
no, it's not good.
No.
So literally, we recorded. Mark called in a Thursday morning. We recorded our first episode the following Wednesday.
Now it's adding up why he needed the microphone.
Yeah, seriously. The next
episode.
episode.
It totally is. That's why our bin was all like completely unkempt. You're like, must get a microphone, job opportunity.
It's like asking your husband for a condom.
It kind of is.
As you're heading out the door.
Brian.
No, I was tearing through the bin.
How many hours you working on this LaMag? Which you should call it LaMaga when you have Corolla on.
As of now, I don't think Corolla's coming on. I mean, he's not a writer. He doesn't write features for the magazine. But what was I saying? Oh, way too many.
How many hours do you work a week on this LaMag?
An equal amount to the Film Vault, probably.
So not much. Now you're calling this.
I'm including watching movies.
Are you watching movies for them?
No, I'm including
a 2-day turnaround. You're saying you were called at 8:45, and then 2 days later.
2 days later, you were all prepped and ready to do the first episode.
Things
aren't adding up.
I'm trying to point out what a whirlwind it was. There was not a lot of time for prep. We launched without artwork. We launched without an intro song.
Why would he do that?
Mark, to his credit, to his enormous credit, he's a very wealthy, successful man. He's like, do it now, do it now, do it now, and it's like, all right, that's how some people.
Where'd you guys record? You recorded him?
I record, yeah, yeah. Some people approach business like that to their benefit, and obviously it's worked for him. So he's like a do it now guy.
I thought I saw a used microphone muff down on the floor when I came in here.
Brian was toweling off.
That's right. It's just floating in the toilet.
Well,
that's you?
What? Yeah. So you spend about 6 hours watching movies a week or so. And then the show itself takes about 5-6 hours. And I would imagine you probably spend about 10 minutes doing research each week.
That's correct.
All right, let's up it. We'll just say let's say 2 hours doing research. Right?
That's ambitious.
Generous.
Really? Interesting.
Really?
All right, so let's say 15 hours a week.
I do the research while I'm watching the movie.
I spend 15 to 20 hours a week on the film, depending on what we're doing. How in the fuck are you spending 20 hours? 15, let's say 10 hours on the bag.
I assume it'll calm down, but in the early days, it's a lot of just building infrastructure, building a house, framing a house.
How do you frame it?
Just we spent an hour we spent hours brainstorming titles, and we ended up with the Brian and Gina show. We had some good titles.
I really hope that Garagos is not hearing this because
why?
That's bad. I mean, I'd be very upset if my money was going to an hour spent of 2 people on the clock brainstorming to get to their fucking names. I mean, that's bad times.
I think the name thing was assigned to us.
Brian and Gina was assigned to you.
Yeah, we had names.
By your parents.
We had no. We had titles. We had titles, and they were eschewed.
Your titles? Well,
we had titles.
Like Brian, the
head of pod.
That's right. On Golden Pod.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Hey, thanks,
it's bizarre.
Man.
You want to
it's
tell?
A long route.
You want to tell me?
It's a long route to say congratulations.
It's very upsetting. You would suggest that it's a narcissistic thought to be like, why wouldn't my co-host of a podcast, entertainment podcast,
I did try to tell you
did try and tell us on our way out the door?
No, I had to pee. But,
so do you understand what you're saying is so childishly ridiculous? And you're expecting us to believe it.
Also, well,
you sat here for over 4 hours with us.
Keep in mind,
and then you were going to tell us, but you had to pee.
Keep in mind at that point,
Avery, am I?
Keep in mind at that point, it wasn't a sure thing. Like we hadn't recorded anything. Mm-hmm. Nothing had launched. Like I was to a small extent.
We wanted a bald Brian.
Afraid of jinxing it.
We went on a bald. I hope it pays well the way you're acting. We went on a
bald.
How
am I acting?
You're acting like it's the greatest thing to ever come along. We went on a. You didn't want to jinx it. You're gonna tell your buddy and your co-host for 20 years because you didn't want to jinx something that was like. Okay, listen to me. We went on a deep. Oh, this is going to be the most hurtful thing I've said to you in a long time, and I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry.
12 minutes left. 12 minutes.
Not what you think though. Not an insult.
Under average, I think.
This ought to be good.
We went. Mike, Tyler, and I on the After Disaster went on a deep bald Brian dive.
Fuck, I can't believe this is lost.
It didn't record. See how pain he is? And I'm the narcissist. All right, so yeah, we went down. We were Googling you.
Oh.
We were looking at, we were finding pictures.
What did you find?
What's really interesting is the first thing that Tai found is a video of a guy who's not you, but it's all about Bald Brian, you.
Really?
And it's like a picture of some other dude with hair, but then it's like your bio, and I don't know what the video said.
Is he talking about me?
You might find this shocking, but I was getting very upset as the Bald Brian deep dive was occurring, and I kept trying to shut it down.
I feel like my years of Patreon support entitles me to request a redo of certain segments.
Do you feel that way?
I do.
Okay. Brian, full disclosure, Brian is a high supporter of the After Disaster, a very generous supporter, very generous.
Can we get back to the part where you were Googling me?
Yeah, I was not. It was Tyler, 2 cars over. We did it live at Gelson's.
Wait, why though?
Why what?
Why was he Googling me?
Because it came up that you had a new show.
Oh, probably didn't find much, honestly.
On you?
All right, on that.
No, he was just Googling like you in general, I guess. And then he became like very interested in you as a person. He was saying all these things about how talented you were. And
wow.
It was really weird.
This is lost. I mean,
well, none of that happened. None of that happened.
I'm gonna pretend it did.
I am unavailable to produce.
Oh.
No.
Who is producing?
Gary. Remember Gary from the Corolla Show?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Gary.
Yeah, tall Gary.
Yeah. So what do you just send it all over to him?
Yeah, we recorded on. You guys familiar with StreamYard?
Yeah.
Yeah, recorded on StreamYard. Instantly uploads to his computer. And
can we use StreamYard for this as well?
Sure.
All right, let's do that. I mean, might as well if we have access.
Yeah. I mean, if we're ever doing a remote, it's probably a good.
I feel like we should from now on. It's gross in here now. Feels tainted. I feel like I'm out.
Did it crack a window?
Feels like other pod.
Feels like I'm in a house of ill repute all of a sudden. Just yuck. Bri. Can you at least wash the towel before we?
I don't use the towel. The Taos Film Vault exclusive.
That's very nice. That's very courteous of you. Because you don't want to expose Gina to your nose
It'd be
rubbings.
like using a sex toy on a different one.
Brian comes out wearing a slip.
I have standards.
Smoking a cigarette in a robe.
Penny for your thoughts.
Oh, it's time for the film vault already? I wasn't even ready. I'm gonna need at least 10 minutes here. All right, let's get to some actual movie talk instead of.
Oh no, we're gonna do a movie talk on.
Good luck.
Brian
Good luck to you.
Thanks,
on
man.
the Lamag.
It's time consuming, but it's a labor of love.
An hour to come up with Gina and Brian does not sound that time consuming.
No,
Brian.
we sent titles back and forth. Oh, how dare you!
You were texting these?
I think they were emails.
Oh, I'm so happy that you don't bill me for anything. My God.
I don't get paid hourly.
Wow.
Hourly pays for the
I had to
birds.
send at least 5 emails suggesting different names. It's very hard work.
Well, there's 5 letters in Brian. You had to get them right.
Thank you.
Very hard
I had to bill for every name.
How about this title? Brian, but with an I. What do you think of that, Gina?
That's not helpful at all.
Well, I thought maybe that was one of your pitches.
Oh, no.
No.
Why would I do that? It's the wrong way to spell Brian.
All right, here we go. Let's do a little fanfliction.
Anything else you want to get off your chest?
What's that?
Anything else you want to get off your chest?
No, later in the episode.
Later?
Yes. As we Flickfest, you will see. It'll become apparent too.
Okay. Hey, what have the listeners seen?
What a good question. Little fanfiction compiled by the Mitch Burns.
So if Mitch had a sense of humor, he'd throw in the Brian and Gina show.
You get another producer gig since I saw you last? Avery, you just forgot to tell me, or you had to pee or something?
No comment.
Okay. All right.
I demand to know.
All right.
I will be the exclusive host and producer of the film Vaulterers.
Hey, a little shout out to the film Vaulters, which is the Mitch Burns show that he's put together podcast, which is about this show somehow. Yeah. I have not listened to as much as I should have because I don't like listening to things about myself, and also because I've been very busy listening to other things. All that will be out in the open soon enough, but you should listen to that. You should also check out our YouTube page, which Eric Kath is doing fantastic work on. Brian, you would love it. You would love what he's doing over there. You don't look. You don't look. And it hurts me.
But I love it.
It's good stuff. It's really good stuff.
I still love it.
He breaks down our reviews of movies in bite-sized pieces. He puts a shit ton of work into it. He's building up the YouTube page. It's still very small now. I never understood people who would watch YouTube videos of podcasts, but we've been told multiple times that it needs to happen. And Eric Kath is doing very, very good work for us, so that there's actually something worth looking at over there. That's just not us talking. So that we have the full shows up there, which I think I don't know if we're going to continue to do that, but at least the clips where he breaks down the reviews. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
I like
good
that.
Stuff.
Good stuff.
Hey, by the way, never mind. Keep going.
Speaking of good stuff, Johnny Pomato on Facebook. I saw John Wick Chapter 4 early. Oh, look at this lucky son of a bitch.
What in the...
I'm trying to look at it.
What you're watching it during the show?
It looks great. Look at it. There's you. There's me.
Brian, I get that you got a terminal brain cancer. I understand.
Terminal.
That. And you feel like you don't have that much time left, but still, this is too much.
I got to keep adding shows.
You're compressing so much into...
You could also watch the Film Vault live right now.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at me looking at me.
All right, I'm sorry. Very, very rude, Avery.
This is a preview of Brian and Gina.
That's how it goes.
Johnny Pomato
We're gonna
on
review podcasts.
Facebook. I saw John Wick Chapter 4 early, and it may be the best of the franchise, or at least the strongest entry since the first. Course corrects a few of the issues that plagued the third film and has some of the finest fight scenes I've seen in years. Ken Cunningham.
Wait, real quick. John Wick.
Yes.
4. Yeah. How long?
I saw 2 hours and 46 minutes when I bought my ticket.
2 hours 49 minutes.
Oh Jesus, I was wrong. Well, maybe they shave off the maybe they add 3 for the Nicole Kidman.
I mean, this is not a movie. They're fine. The first 3 are fine.
Fine.
They're fine.
Ass kicking.
They're excellent for what they are, but I have trouble discerning one from the other.
Yeah, so do I. I think I'm out.
Oh,
okay.
You're not gonna go in.
I don't think I have to.
That is controversial.
Is it?
Wow.
Is it really?
I think so.
I mean, I can watch 2 really good independent movies that you probably haven't heard of and bring them to the table and make people happy, right?
That's true.
Rather than John Wick, everyone's gonna be talking about John Wick. You can talk about John Wick.
I will talk about John.
All right,
Wick.
Cool.
I'm excited.
You guys can talk John Wick.
I love it.
I love this.
This is great. This is like when you guys talk TV, except good.
What? No. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Ken Cunningham on Facebook. Soft and quiet. I will put this movie with the likes of Irreversible and Funny Games. A great watch, but not for most people.
Oh.
Why did Lance Reddick die? Reddick?
Lance Reddick died.
Why did he die?
Why did he die?
Yeah.
What did he die of?
What stopped his heart?
God? I don't know.
Why is everyone so upset with me for asking these questions? Because I don't know. I didn't look into things. I saw that he died when I watched Last Week Tonight because they had a little picture of him.
Yeah.
I turned to Jillian and I say, oh, what happened to him? How did he die? And she goes, I don't know. I'm like, you're on Twitter all fucking day. She's like, still, I saw that he died, but no one knows how. I'm like, okay, well, there's a chance that he kind of got hit by a car and everyone would know how, so don't get mad at me. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
It'll be
I'm a
best.
little edgy about the whole
That was
podcast.
quite a eulogy.
You heard how long it took for Brian and Gina to come up with the name of the show.
A fitting tribute.
To leave show business. Landono on Reddit, Puss in Boots. Though it pains me to say it, Brian was right. But he spelled it Brian with an I.
Why would that
so
pain
delights
you?
me.
I used to be thrilled.
spelled
What
it
if I was wrong?
Brian.
Okay.
So
Well, he doesn't know
I'll
his
take that as
shit.
a slam. This movie is awesome. Really cool animation style, similar to Spider-Verse. Really funny, action-packed, way better than I imagined.
I'm so glad. Who's that? Lance Reddick?
That is Landono.
Okay. I'm glad you enjoyed. Don't say you're sad that I was right. You should be sad if I was wrong.
No, he's not sad. He's in physical
But
pain.
his pain.
It hurts him to agree with you.
That's right.
Agony. DanMan8605 on Reddit. After Flickfessions from a few weeks ago, I checked Baby Teeth and really enjoyed it.
Yes.
Probably one of the better movies I've found through the show in a while.
Oh.
I don't know if this is a relic or
You obviously haven't seen Dinner in America, my friend. Okay.
Guess not. I don't know if this is a relic or what, but Mitch threw in Creed 3 is a 60% TFV score.
Oh, thanks, Mitch.
Shazam 2, do we want to guess what the TFV
film ball score is?
Yes.
68.
50%.
66.
Oh, look at that.
This is from Mitch
2
himself.
out of 3.
The bitch Merns himself. Don't understand how this is getting a pass. Terrible script, bad dialogue, shitty editing, jokes don't land. Most of the acting is awful.
Oh.
It had a decent scene in the last act, so I can see why people left happy. But what about all the dog shit before it?
Well, other than that, how'd you enjoy the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
Brian.
That's a saying.
Yeah, I know.
That's a saying.
I didn't make that up.
All right. We moving on. Thank you, Mitch. Thanks for your wrong words about Shazam.
On the heels of that, I want to hear your thoughts on Shazam.
Yeah, okay, so Shazam is a 2023 movie. It came out this week. I was thinking about not seeing it. And
Why?
What compelled you to see it?
Well, I missed the first Shazam.
Even more.
Settle down, Brian. For the first 6 years of its existence or so, right? And then I finally, at someone's behest, I watched it. And I'm like, holy shit, it's a lot of fun. Hits the right tones.
It was.
It's looking at
I enjoyed it.
It knew what it wanted to be, and it was that. And it's DC having a little fun. And I'm like, you know what? I like this Shazam. I like the characters. I like the actors that are in it. And when the new one was coming out, despite the fact that perhaps it didn't have the greatest trailer, I tuned trailers out, okay? Christ. So I didn't even really notice what you were talking about there. I saw a dragon. I saw Helen Mirren. And I saw Shazam. I saw
3 things that I can't miss.
Oh, strike 1, 2, and 3.
That's how you win an Oscars. Those three facts.
I saw Jack Dylan Grazer, who plays the sidekick, the friend, who was really good. I mean, that kid's got such great timing. He's an it. He's a funny kid. We all know him. And I decided to see it a while ago, and I had some misgivings about my ideas of going to see it, and these misgivings continued through the first hour of the movie.
Really?
In fact, I was very upset with my phone for not having internet service because I was thinking about maybe going and spending my time watching Scream 9 instead.
Oh, like to a different theater.
And then I was thinking Florence covered that one for us, so and I can't even get on my phone to figure out if I can just switch over to a theater across the hall.
That leaves you with Mummies.
Not watching Mummies, so I stuck it out. And exactly like what Mitch said, the opening stuff is it's Harry Potter 1 levels of cringy, right? Of Mish. It was just real bad. There's a scene on a bridge, which is, they never even explain why the bridge is failing, and it's like, it's failing. Like, it's just breaking apart.
Sure, as bridges do.
They're having
in
a little,
the United
I don't know if
States.
you remember the end of Shazam 1, but they all got the powers. Another thing, too.
It was like a team of Shazams.
You'd do yourself a favor if you saw the first one recently, because they're referring to it quite a bit, more than I felt comfortable with, because I didn't remember. I'm not catching up with Shazam to go see Shazam 2, right?
You said you missed it for the first 6 years of its existence.
Yeah,
When
something
did you
along
see
those
it?
lines. It's probably 2-3 years ago. It's an older movie, right?
I think it was that old.
All right, I maybe
let's
missed
see.
it for the first 2-3 years of its existence. I didn't see it until long it was after it was out of theater. So they're doing
2019.
What?
Okay, about 4 years
Holy
ago.
shit! Really?
Yeah, 2019.
All right, so I missed it for the first couple of years. I flick fast it on the show. Whatever. So they're doing
Streaming on HBO Max.
It's like Disney level absurdity. Like they're all these impossibly good looking, fun, pizzazz for the most part, latent kids who become superheroes. Like whenever they yell Shazam, and their foster parents who are incredibly nice in this beautiful craft home. Like it's just unreality, right? And then they're like, hey, the one kid's Freddy is scanning the police scanner looking for something to go save. And they find one with the bridge collapsing. It's like the Bay Bridge, or almost like the Golden Gate Bridge, but it's not that. It's something in Philly, and it's just collapsing for no reason at all. So they're like, let's go Shazam it. And then they go out there, they're all just having fun with it and laughing, and like, oh, kittens in a car right before you're about to die. I'm gonna steal a kitten, and I'll come back and save you. Like this, people could be dying left and right. So it's just asking you right off the bat to just suspend disbelief, but it's not nearly fun enough to be worth suspending disbelief. I'll suspend my disbelief if you're
for a payoff.
Yeah, for a payoff, or if it's just a fun little lark and the characters are all hitting the mark. They're
like
not.
Fast 9.
Not that at all. No, wrong. And it's just hard to watch, and I'm having a hard time enjoying myself at all, to the point that I'm like, why is my phone SOSing right now in this goddamn theater? I have no. Thank you, T-Mobile. T-Mobile's great until you go inside a building, and then you're just out of fucking luck. It's like you're in the mid-90s.
Brutal.
What ultimately happens?
But that was prime time for you.
With Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren, who are the heels. I can't remember if they were the bad guys, the antagonists in the last one as
No,
well.
I don't think they were
Mark
involved
Strong,
at all.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was strong. Yeah, you're right. There actually is a clip of the last movie in this one. That's how
fun.
Did you
heavily.
see it 6 years ago when it came out, Brian?
Yeah, about 10, 12 years
All right, that's
ago.
5 years ago. 4 years ago. All right, get off my. So, ultimately, what happens is some creatures, as you'd imagine, including a dragon, which you saw in the trailer, and mythical creatures, Clash of the Titan creatures. All right, you got your flying dragon over there. What do you call that? A Griffith? Griffin?
I call it a
Griffin?
dragon.
Griffin? No, the flying lion over there.
Oh, you said flying dragon.
I fucked up.
I believe it's a griffin.
Yeah, I think
Griffin.
Griffin.
You got the Griffin. You got the Cyclops with the horn, right?
Ooh, nice.
You got some kind of creature that I'm not a big a guy from the Greek days, but it's a very creepy looking, like vampire type. Some really disturbing imagery for what could have easily been like a fun kids movie. And then you got your unicorns, and the unicorns,
Like actual unicorns?
but they're like hellish unicorns.
Oh.
And I'm thinking if a little girl, such as your daughter, were to stumble into this theater by
Make sure
mistake, or this
that
pops up on HBO Max in a couple months, and
gonna
she
ruin her.
sees, it could. But it all looked really good, CGI for sure. But it was like I could just spend more time because I'm a creature guy. I love these things, and they're just ripping people apart. So I'm thinking this movie is so absurd, so dumb. Every third joke works. But then it's grisly too, so it's made for like 13-year-old girls. But 13-year-old girls aren't going to dig this, so it's kind of a misstep by a long shot, I
It's a
think.
miscalculation.
However, you know, if you're into escapism and you need, there's so many capes in this movie, so many fucking capes.
I want to tell you something that might upset you.
It's enjoyable. It's
Really?
it's a 3-star movie.
So wait for streaming.
Yeah, wait for streaming and see if your 11-year-old daughter can take it, type thing.
Okay.
Or 12-year-old son,
Yeah,
or 11-year-old son.
You
Watch
know
it with a kid.
You know when you don't want to do something, you'll look for any excuse not to do it. Like, going to the store, or the gym, or
Naming a
whatever.
show.
Yeah, and it's like lightly sprinkling. Well, day's ruined now. Can't go to the store.
Yeah.
Or whatever the thing is.
I don't have a whole lot of that, but I know what you're talking about.
This might upset you, but I was wavering already. I was like, I bought a ticket on my AMC Stubbs A-list. I got a ticket, and I'm going on Friday morning or whatever, and I'm getting all ready to go, and I'm like, oh fuck, I just don't. I have no interest. I don't care about Shazam. I'm waning on superhero movies in general. Like, I need to either be a superhero I really care about, which is at this point, I don't know, Batman,
Thor.
maybe? I don't even know if Thor counts. Or
Flash.
Oh, no, definitely not. But my point is...
You know, the Flash is doing multiverse too, so there's a couple Flashes now. I
Oh,
got to see the trailer for
great.
that. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
so excited.
cool.
So there weren't enough superheroes, so now they're all just doing multiverses, so there's multiples of all of them.
But will he be smaller as well?
No, he doesn't Ant-Man it.
This feels like the circling of the drain for...
We have to say that every
I know, but not. But
goddamn year.
I read a story that Shazam really underperformed at the box office compared to the first one. Maybe that's what. Maybe that's a harbinger things to come. That said, this is the part that's going to upset you. I said, I looked up the Rotten Tomato score the day of the movie, and I said,
"Oh, of course, it doesn't upset me.
If this fucking thing is nowhere near fresh, I'm not going to bother. I don't want to. I have no appetite for middling superhero movies at this point. And I think at the time it was 55%. I'm like, I'm out. Cancel my ticket.
I laughed out loud like 4 or 5 times. I'll openly admit that. Yeah. 4 or 5. Steve, the pen, the self-writing pen. Very good stuff.
Worth 2 hours of your time to laugh out loud 4 or 5 times?
No, it wasn't. No, what I'm thinking while I'm watching this thing is there's some great performances, and I'm enjoying some.
Great performances.
Yeah.
All right.
Jack Dylan Grazer was fantastic. He's great. I mean, I'm thinking that this kid has the legs to like be an actor that's going to be sticking around. Like 10 years from now, he'll be a household name.
Sure.
And like up for awards and stuff. I'm thinking he has that kind of talent, that kind of pizzazz.
Presence.
Yeah, presence. But no, the thought that I have is I could be watching something much more valuable for the show.
I think I actually watched. I watched Ginger Snaps instead.
Well, you had to watch that anyway.
I know,
So you can't say instead, Bri. That's not like you can go to school and be like,
No,
"Oh, I did
instead of
yesterday's
going-
assignment instead of today's. Is that okay, teacher?" She'd be like, "No, you have to do it both." You're hurting the show, is what I'm saying.
Okay, you know what? That's fair.
I love how confused he is. But I watched Ginger Snaps
Instead of going to the movie.
during that time slot.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah.
You
That's
want to
exactly
talk?
what I used at that time wisely.
wanna
You want to talk Ginger Snaps?
Oh, we can.
Ginger Snaps is a 2000 film, the year 2000, directed by John Fawcett, starring Emily Perkins, Catherine Isabel, Chris Lemke, and Mimi Rogers. Makes an appearance in this. 90% of Rotten Tomatoes. You can rent this across multiple platforms. You can stream it for free with a lot of ads, but don't recommend that. This was assigned to us by Danny Leffer, a regular, I should point out, at the Film Vault watch-alongs. See your name pop up in the chat quite often. Thank you, Danny, for assigning us Ginger Snaps. This movie opens with trauma to a dog. So, Anderson, were you able to overcome that?
Yeah, if you love yourself some Rottweilers, this is not a film for you.
Poor Baxter.
Yeah, it's not just that Rottweiler.
No.
It seems like Rottweiler is really...
Take it.
It seems like the whole town, like the cool guy or the cool family got a Rottweiler at some point in this town, and then everyone else had to go out and get a Rottweiler. So there's like at least a half a dozen family Rottweilers in this town.
They don't fare well.
And they don't. And I thought it was going to come down to like, oh, this creature that's destroying these Rottweilers just like has it in for this particular breed of dog, but that never even comes to play. It's just, I think what it was is reusing the same prosthetics.
The same half a Rottweiler.
Yeah. I think that's what maybe happened because this is a B horror film.
Yeah, Chris, you walked in the middle. I'm like, what are you watching? I'm like, it's a shocking horror movie.
Yeah, but it's prosthetics, and the director Fawcett had plenty of opportunity.
Practical effects.
Practicals, yes. Had plenty of opportunities to use CGI, and he's like, no, I want to do practicals, which I totally appreciate. Have we ever done top 5 practical effects? It'd be a good one.
I think we did.
It sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Let me look it up.
Good thing you're not billing me because this would probably you probably
I
count
gotta
this
go
as like
back and
30
forth.
minutes, and then I had to look up if we ever did if we did practicals before. All right, so Ginger Snaps. Let me throw in the old papers
Yes,
here.
and just last year.
Just last year we did
almost
practice.
a year ago in May of 2022.
Sam Winston probably got a lot of love. So the dog Brian already talked about. That's you see that early, like to let you know that this is going to be a creature feature and it's going to be bloody and gory, which is fun. It's off to the races. When I say B schlocky horror film, that's not a pejorative. Like
no, it's made in the style of,
and there's a place for that for sure. And this one, I think, hits the mark for the most part. This is not all right. So then it morphs into the opening title sequence, which might be my favorite part of the whole movie. Save the ending, right? Where it's these two sisters who were goth, but they didn't play the tropey goths with the white face and the all black clothes, but they had the ethos of goth girls.
or Canadian goth.
Canadian goth. And they hate the world, they hate everybody, and they love each other, they have a strong bond, and they think life is meaningless and worthless, and they get off by taking pictures of themselves dead, much like Harold and Maude, the opening to Harold and Maude. So this is almost like a direct love letter to Harold and Maude. And then it's really clever and fun because we're watching over the titles of the movie, all of these stills of these two girls, Ginger and her sister, being just brutalized, like on white picket fence.
Posing as though they've encountered a horrible death.
Yes. And then it pulls back and you realize you're watching a slideshow in a classroom and you see the disturbed high school teacher's face because it's like a photography class, and this is their project, and they're thrilled. They're watching it, and everyone in the classroom is kind of like just dumbfounded, like what? And the teacher is not having it, not happy at all, and that's the open of the movie.
Then take it away from there. No, and then they, you can see a lot of. You can see how this would be a strong influence on everything from Jennifer's Body, which we were also assigned.
Yeah, when I was talking to Danny yesterday, she was talking about how much it's like Jennifer's Body, because she saw this one first, and she has since caught up with Jennifer's Body when we were talking about it. I was thinking about Florence with this movie, too, and how much she would probably love it if
she may have seen it. Yeah, Jennifer's Body, clearly a bigger budget version of this. It follows also kind of, it follows in the footsteps, even Turning Red, because there's a strong...
I thought I was going to have you on that one.
Oh, really?
That was one of my notes. I didn't know that Turning Red was a remake.
It's a strong undercurrent, subtle, not so subtle message of
menstruation.
The girls are going through some sort of change in their life.
Yeah. There's a drug dealer in this movie. Halfway through, he plays an integral part, and he kept the movie going. I enjoyed his presence. My main issue with this movie is once it kind of becomes a one-hander and it becomes about the little sister, who actually in reality is like 3 or 4 years older than Ginger. She just couldn't really carry the scenes for me. Like it was just it lost some momentum for me. However, it gained it back by the end, and I can understand.
Makeup is a triumph.
I can understand why this has a cult following. Now, it did not find an audience here in the U.S. when it was initially released. It was huge over in the U.K., big in the U.K.
Oh, really?
Really big in Canada. It was like one of the highest grossing movies in all of Canada the year that it came out, and it's big in Australia as well. It had a real hard time over here, and one of the problems was that it was right around the time of Columbine, so high school kids being violent with one another was not something that the audience was clamoring for.
Yeah, I can see that. The makeup and the effects teams were doing some work on this movie because, like Anderson alluded to, a lot of practicals, a lot of practical effects, makeup, blood, carnage, gore, creatures. I'll leave it at that. Do we lay out the plot of this movie? The plot is okay.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean,
something is terrorizing this town, this small town, like we alluded to, killing dogs,
Rottweilers,
making a mess of Rottweilers, and it turns out that thing maybe supernatural.
Yeah. Which you get the idea of right off the bat when you see what it did to this big, powerful dog, and
kind of Wolf of Snow Hollow too.
Definitely felt like that. And it's a werewolf, right? We can say that, I think.
Sure.
I mean, we see it fairly early on, and you kind of connect the dots. Got me thinking, too, we've never done just straight-up top 5 werewolf movies, I don't think. And we might have enough in the canon now that it would make an interesting
Thanks
episode.
to Denny Leffler.
So, yeah, I liked Ginger Snaps. I didn't love Ginger Snaps, but I can absolutely see where this would be. I'm sure there's people listening who have not seen Ginger Snaps that would absolutely love the old Ginger Snaps.
I'm sure there's people listening who have seen it and love it. You know, it's got that cult following.
I bet there's people that haven't seen it, and if they did see it, they would hate it.
Oh,
I bet there's all sorts of different.
Yeah, all permutations.
I don't know about that.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, you think that's not on the table?
No, not possible.
Well.
Yeah, in fact, Jillian came home to my wife with 15 minutes left, and I knew where it was going because I knew there was going to be a
That's
big
not the part to walk in on.
No, there's blood eating, which she missed by she just barely missed. I paused it. I'm like, honey, you can't eat your lunch in here. You should definitely flee. Yeah. So she did.
You can't eat your grilled cheese.
I was getting nauseous at times during this movie.
It was a little gratuitous. I think that's in the spirit of the film.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you hear Florence talk about these movies. She's like, "Oh, the kills were great. They were just fantastic."
My granddaughter loved the kills.
My granddaughter agreed that the young girls' deaths were just amazing.
Yeah.
The viscera was glowing.
It's so funny to hear sweet people talk about their horror in such a glowing way. It's bizarre.
Did it bump you that the older sister or younger sister, who is actually older, was wearing a wig the whole time?
I didn't notice that, but she did feel very black metal.
Yeah,
like she would have lived in that Lords of Chaos.
That's right. She would have fit right in.
She would have fit right in with those guys.
All right.
It didn't bug me. She was wearing a wig. Why was she wearing a wig? What's going on there?
It was.
You wig shaming,
buddy?
I feel like you're wig shaming.
What I wouldn't do for a good wig.
I mean, they sell them.
That's true.
You need to wear a wig.
Send me a wig, everyone. Hey, if you guys want to be a signer, sign us a movie to watch like Ginger Snaps, like Danny Leffler did. Join up at the Patreon. 6 months at $20, $25. What is it?
$25 a month for 6 months. It's painless for a lot of you, and then by the time you get there, you hear from me, and we're catching up now. So.
Oh, by the way, sorry to interrupt. You talked to Danny, obviously.
Yeah, I get to talk.
her thoughts on Ginger Snaps.
Yeah, so she caught this one. It was funny how she came to this one. She was playing trivia, and she saw a still of it, and that was the answer, and she wasn't familiar with it. And then like a few months after that, or maybe a year or two after that, a friend of hers said, you should watch this. And it was during COVID, and she was watching way too many movies, as she put it. And she's like, oh, check out this Ginger Snaps. And she liked it way more than she thought she would, and it stuck with her. And she knows her films, too. She's a professional editor, Danny Leffler.
A film editor.
Film editor, yes. And it's always a nice conversation catching up with Danny and talking about her picks. So that's how she found it, if that's satisfies that question, Brian.
I forget if you brought me this trivia or if we just kind of knew it and talked about it. But you know, at the early Hollywood, all the editors were women.
Oh yes, I did know
because of their sewing experience.
That's right. They were good with their hands.
That's right. Good with
Society was the last
things
one.
Together, stitching things together.
Society was the last one that Danny had us watch. You remember Society?
Is that so?
So,
yeah, that's the one, the 80s one, where they're all, at the end, there's a party.
Yeah, there's a party.
There's a party.
Yeah, Society. Two films that use practicals. I think that might have been what spurred us on to do the top 5 practicals.
Yeah, it could have been.
Could have been. I said quick break here, Brian, and then we're going to come back with some revelatory reviews.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah.
What was I going to break for? Oh, everybody's got to save this and turn the power off.
Nah, you're good. Stop blowing wind.
This is a weird beginning of the song.
We're back. Time for Anderson to revel us with revelations.
Hey.
I think revel us is actually a...
No, and I got so sidetracked.
We're going to revel in revelations.
Giving you the business about your your Lamag project that I
Gina
forgot
show.
to
Thank you
do a
for
little
giving us a
plugging on my own, and that's this. As early as next week, perhaps, I'm going to be plugging something fairly big for something that I've been working towards for a long, long time.
Is this the usurping you've done?
It involves usurping for sure, Brian, but it's exciting, and I'm excited.
But it's exciting.
It's very exciting,
It's
yeah.
Cinema Twats.
It's gonna be
this one
That's
is.
right.
Cinema Twats is what I'll be launching next week. No.
Cinema Cox.
I've been talking about a movie that I've been producing for the last 3 years with my buddy Ryan Courtney, and it's finally had its world premiere. I forgot to give a shout out to that, and just congratulations to my buddy who it's his first feature film that he's directed, and it's doing really, really well on the festival circuit. It's called La Lucha. It's all about the education system and the haves and the have-nots and inequality and. I spent with Rand the last better part of 3 years working on it.
All right.
And he was working on it even before that.
Love that,
It's
Rand.
a documentary, and a whole lot of work goes into these things, and this thing is effective. In fact, I've been at a couple of the screenings. Mike and I both were.
Oh, it's like it's being screened.
Well, it had its world premiere just last weekend or the weekend before.
I wasn't invited.
I know, I failed. It was down in San Diego. So,
Fuck that.
But it's going to be playing in LA eventually. But before that, there's a couple screenings coming up at the end of April. If you live in the Florida area, it's going to be playing. It's already won awards and whatnot. It's doing really well, really well.
La Lucha.
It's going to be at the Sunscreen Film Festival as well as the Palm Beach International Film Festival in Palm
Nice.
Beach, Florida. So St. Petersburg, Florida, and Palm Beach, Florida. If you would like a free ticket, Rand will personally, he loves the Film Vault. That's how he found me to begin with years ago. We've become friends since, but we work together on various projects, this being one of the main ones over the last few years. So it's really good. I'm proud of it. What I was starting to say is he had Mike and I, because Mike and I shot a bunch of this stuff too. You see our work all through the film, which is cool. And I got to tell you, like it looks pretty good on
Sweet.
Blowing Up.
I can't wait
looks
to see
really
it.
good. So he tasked us.
How long is it? 2 hours, 46?
Oh, it's scant. It's like an hour and 9 minutes, I think.
Okay. Barely feature length.
No, anything over 40 minutes is feature, Brian. You don't know. You're out of your element.
Really am.
But yeah, he tasked us with a couple of the early screenings, including where it world premiered at the Latino Film Festival in San Diego a couple weeks ago, was going down and shooting stills of the audience as they wept, because people are openly weeping during this documentary, because it's very touching and it's tragedy occurs and it's a very, very well made documentary that I'm very proud to be a part of. So
what is your credit? What are you
producer? And I think I have I may have additional camera in there. I don't know, but I produced it. I mean,
hey, congratulations!
Thanks, buddy.
I'm excited for this. So let's say you congratulate someone on a new venture.
Well, I'm telling you about it as well.
So you already had
you already had the premiere. About it.
You already had the premiere.
Imagine if you were just like laying in bed and Christy turns to you and says, "Hey, Anderson's starting a new entertainment podcast."
She would never say that.
If she was like scrolling on Twitter and she saw something about it,
she would never say. You're not on Twitter.
What?
You're not on Twitter.
Lamag might have like, whatever I'm doing, like whoever I'm doing.
Oh, I hope we cover this on the podcast.
Cover what?
Your new venture.
What do you mean?
This movie. I hope we cover it on the LA Mag podcast.
Oh, La Lucha?
Yeah.
That'd be smart.
That'd
I
be
mean,
awesome.
it's making noise out there, Bri.
Right.
It'd be smart.
All
It'd
right.
be smart. Okay. So let's get to films.
Go ahead.
I just talked a bunch.
We both talked. We talked about the fuck. Oh, you talking about your movie?
Yeah. So if you like, you can email, and there'll be email contact@gettingschooledinamerica.com. Contact@gettingschooledinamerica.com is where you can get free
Is
tickets.
Is that the subtitle to La Lucha?
Yeah, that was the actual running title at one point.
Oh.
We were doing. I titled it. We had to come up with all different titles for different reasons. It's really interesting and fun to produce a documentary, even if it is tragic. I mean, I love these kids that are in this documentary. I got to know them over the course of it, and this is an important documentary. I hate to say it, but it's one of those that you see it and you're like, oh, okay, I have a better understanding of what's going on right now. So, yeah, if you have anything to do with the education system or you have kids or anything, it's important to kind of get a grasp. I am neck deep in the education system and how it works. Unbelievable how much I've learned over the last 3 years.
You learned enough to get your boy into a school that doesn't go on strike.
That's true. My boy is in a school that's not striking today. However, I was supporting the teachers as they were striking as I was driving by them. Yes.
Honk the horn.
Oh, yeah. I love teachers. And it's another interesting thing that I learned.
Well, the teachers are striking in solidarity, I think, with the cafeteria workers.
Right. But the interesting thing about the school, I don't want to start getting into all this. I don't want to get into it. But the type of person that becomes a teacher, for the most part, they want to do good things for society, and they have a nurturing instinct about them, and they like kids for the most part. Even though there's many out there that don't or get burnt out, and I've experienced many of those firsthand, being a troubled student myself. But they're typically not the type of people who can advocate for themselves and for money very well. So the teachers' union is very, very important in that respect. I'm not very good at advocating. Is this what Lucha is all about? About what?
Is it about this?
What do you mean?
What you're just talking about right now? Teachers unions?
No, not at all. It's about education, how we educate our youth, and about different learners, and about inequities, like I started off with, and how the whole. It all starts with education. Like all of the have versus the have-nots, it all starts with education, and not nearly enough people talk about that. And just the disparity, the differences with disparity with somebody who drops out as opposed to somebody who graduates. What that difference makes for each student as a society, not just for the individual student, but for society as a whole, is remarkable. It's remarkable. And there's like hundreds of thousands of kids drop out every single year. And if they were to follow through and actually graduate, like our country would be killing it, and those kids would be killing it too. Instead, that they're driven into the school to prison pipeline.
It puts you behind the 8 ball.
It does. Yeah. Okay, so
did you consider getting Reggie's rap in there?
Oh, dropping out of school just takes cool. I didn't think about it one single time.
Should at least be a DVD extra.
Oh, son of a bitch. That
maybe you could do a YouTube viral thing.
Dropping out of school just ain't cool. I forgot all about it.
That should have been the ending credits.
Motherfucks. Got a little bit more of a serious tone than that, but jeez.
That's not serious? Sounds like the most serious.
Oh, when who was it that came in and just... Who was it? What's his name? He just died.
Came in and what? Lance Reddick.
No.
Sizemore.
No.
Heath Ledger.
Another Day in Paradise. Coolio. Yeah, Coolio was on Loveline, and he was critiquing Reggie's rap, and it was just one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever witnessed. He was just Reggie did it for him live, and
God,
Coolio was just like, it's just not good, man. It's just not good.
That's rough.
It was so bad. I hated being there. I hated everything that was happening. Okay.
With that, or the Hank Hill impression, what made you more comfortable?
Well, the Hank Hill impression is
Landed.
hilarious. It's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah, it killed.
It was equally uncomfortable, but Hank Hill wasn't sad. That was just funny.
Equally uncomfortable. How dare you?
So uncomfortable watching you. All right. Hey, let's talk movies.
There will be an impression segment on the new podcast.
I saw a film.
What'd you say?
And there's a lot of controversy surrounding this film.
What is a woman?
No. I should mention, though, we are doing the Revolties this week.
Why would that factor in?
I should mention. We are doing the worst films of 2022 to officially
Why would
close
that
the
remind
door
you?
on 2022. And we're going to be discussing the worst movies that we saw in 2022, aptly named the Revolties. And hopefully I will have time to look up the listener who suggested that a few years ago. So,
Please. Controversy.
I saw a movie, and it is shrouded in controversy as far as the Oscars go, because it was nominated for an award.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear about this.
And people were like, what? How is she up when she wasn't one of the top the front runners yesterday? And now all of a
A
sudden...
surprise nomination for Andrea Riseborough.
Right. So it's To Leslie was the movie. Sorry, my computer is slowing down.
No, it's
miserably.
T-O?
T.O. Leslie, yeah. Easily called For Leslie, which is what I was calling it for the longest
It was
time.
originally called To Leslie, Too Furious.
To like
That's fucking great. That was actually really good.
I'm golden.
my computer's frozen.
From,
So
from deep.
my computer's frozen. I can just talk about it off the cuff. All right. So it's about Leslie, played by
Go on.
I can go off the cuff.
She's
It's about Leslie.
the titular character.
It's addressed to her.
Let me
Did I
stop.
mention Leslie?
It's one of those movies that's very about her. Like, she is like in every frame.
Is
right?
it a character study?
It's
I'll
a
fucking
character.
break-
It's not just a character study. It's a character study of somebody who is a very desperate alcoholic who just cannot stop and has ruined her life and continues to ruin her life. But she is so lovable, and she gives her all in this performance, and it is a great performance. It might be a little bit over the top at times, but it's absolutely worthy, just as so many performances from 2022 and every single year are worthy. I mean, there's arguments that can be made for probably 1,000 performances every year. I mean, it's just such an absurd
What's
thing.
to separate? This is a bad example because I haven't seen it. But what's to separate this from Emily the Criminal? You know what I mean? That's a great performance too. Either one would have been justified.
This is a little more.
Okay. There goes my point.
I mean, but no, I know exactly what you're saying. Like,
Had one been nominated than the other, no arguments would have been made.
So Andrea Riseborough, and the controversy, I don't know if you realize, but the traditional route is to do a bunch of campaigning and spend a lot of money, and it's usually done by the talent agent.
And there's rules. The studio, whatever. Yeah, the talent agency. There's rules on what you can do, what you can't do. And the controversy was that some rules may have been skirted
Not
or
really,
bent.
even that. It didn't
No,
seem. She just went along.
They allowed the nomination, so it wasn't like anyone broke any rules. It was just a little bit of like.
There was a grassroots effort, and it was like the week leading up to the final voting, which was usually it's months on end. And she just had like her friends, and other like celebrities start tweeting about how she should be up, and kind of got people like, oh, what is this? So it was super cheap.
It was an awareness
super
campaign.
effective the way that she did it.
So that's why people are pissed?
That is, and also it gets a little bit uglier when you look at how it kind of knocked out some other people of color who would have been up. So it would have changed the playing field there as well, and she couldn't be more white, Andrea Riseborough. So that's where it becomes a little bit more problematic, I guess. But whatever, it got me to watch this movie, and I'm glad that I did. Mark Maron is in it at some point. So it's about this woman who lives in the dregs of society. Leslie. Yeah, and we see her, trying to get it right with her young son. It opens with her winning the lottery. We don't know how much, but she wins the lottery. And there's like footage of her just all excited. She's outside a liquor store. She just won the lottery. And her son's there. He's like 11 or 12. And he's kind of just like, you can tell he's not that happy. And she's just it's one of these relationships. I've seen these relationships where the mom continues to party and the son grows up and he's very stoic. And like, I have a mom who parties and this doesn't make me happy.
You?
No, that's
I thought you were throwing
relationships.
your own thing in there. I'm like, I don't see your mom with a party.
So she's continuing to try to get her life together.
Sure.
And she's continuing to slip along the way. And it's hard to watch. It's sad. But the characters are so good that it's you can continue to watch without feeling like you're just watching poverty porn, right? White trash porn, as it were, in this case. And then Stephen Root is in here. He plays a biker. That's fun to see. You have actors doing different things along the way. And then you have Mark Maron, who would play, if you remember the Florida Project. There's a lot of similarities with the Florida Project.
Oh, with Willem Dafoe's character?
Yeah, Willem. He's kind of like the one. He even manages a motel, right? So, movie has a lot of sweet moments in it. Definitely feels like a Sundance movie. It's one of those movies that I was talking about, Sundance. But a lot of the time, those movies, Sundance, quote unquote, they kind of lose me at times. This one didn't lose me. I was hooked in all the way through. Allison Janney plays a real piece of work in this one.
All right.
Really good characters. Good movie all the way through. It's one of those ones where I wouldn't be shocked if it had been based on a play. It is not.
Where can one access this?
I can't remember.
Did you stream it? Did you rent it?
I can't remember. I really can't remember.
Avery, you're all over, buddy.
I think it's for rent.
You can rent it on Vudu and YouTube. Everywhere.
Okay.
Vudu, YouTube, Amazon Prime, $6.99.
Good. It's a little steep.
It is a little steep, and for the type of movie that it is. But if you're really into watching good performances, you don't want to wait. This is one you can jump on. It's good. I recommend.
All right.
I recommend. You're pulling for it the whole time. It's one of those where and you see her
Is
doing
it a
the thing.
slog though? It feels
No,
like
it's
a
not.
slog.
Like I keep saying, like it's not, because it does. I don't want to say it goes down smooth, because that's not the right thing for this. It keeps you hooked in though. You're invested in her story all the way along, so you're not like It's like a mellow version of man, this is getting bad.
Mellow version of
No, don't try and just guess there.
the Kate Blanchett movie.
Adam Sandler movie from a couple of years ago.
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. It's like that, but it's not nearly as like on the edge of your feet, white knuckle. But it's the same kind of character doing.
Okay, compelled
the same kind of
to do
mistakes.
self-destructive things.
Yeah, and there's a lot of very, lack of a better term, very real moments in this thing. When she's at dive bars talking to miscreants and whatnot. It's good.
No,
It's very good. Mark Maron is just a fucking treasure. That guy is so good. He is such a great actor. You think of him as a podcaster, as a comedian. He is so good. The things that he does with his face, like he's just got so.
He is a talented
just
actor. I've enjoyed him when I've seen him act.
Bleeds through his face.
Yeah.
I'm so sad that Glow got canceled, because that was great and he was fantastic in it. Okay.
All right. I alluded to the top of the episode, time for the most disappointing movie I've seen in quite some time. And still good. I would say this is a 3-star movie. I was really, really hoping for more. Number 3 on my Sundance preview from last year. I finally got around to it because I finally signed up for Showtime. Nothing Compares. Nothing Compares. The documentary about Sinead O'Connor, directed by Catherine Ferguson. Do you remember coming across this in your Sundance research?
Oh, yeah. And I remember thinking I'm going to have to hear Brian talk about this.
Yeah, well, you are now.
It's a music documentary.
I'm not going to talk about it too much because I was let down by this movie.
Music documentary.
99% on Rotten Tomatoes. Streaming on Showtime, like I mentioned. Okay. I mentioned I was disappointed, and I was. I don't want to shortchange the movie because it is good. This is an above-average movie, and it really takes a sympathetic look at Sinead O'Connor, but in the history of, or in the context of history, she had that huge controversy. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah. She was on SNL and she ripped up the Pope. Big fucking whoop.
Yeah, she ripped a picture of the Pope saying, "Fight the real enemy," or whatever it was.
And, it was so cringy when she did that. She's all serious, just staring at the
camera. Well, you realize that followed 2.5 minutes of a cappella, like performance art. Like she didn't perform, she didn't sing a song. She recited a speech as a song. Mm-hmm. So it was very, cringy is probably the right way to put it. So yeah, she appears on SNL as a musical guest in I think 1992, if I have it written down here somewhere. Anyway, yes, and this is on the heels, which I did not know, I was not aware of. She had like a thing with the national anthem. She refused to come out. She was playing like a Texas State Fair or some shit like that, and they're like, "Well, we play the national anthem before the headliner comes out." She's like, "I'm not fucking coming out for that." And it was a whole thing, and that was a lot of apparently
she was badass, and she was totally punk rock. I mean, she could have had the easiest, most charmed like pop star's life.
Yeah, totally. Because she was like
rejected all that, and I appreciate all that. However, it was fucking cringy watching her stare into the camera after she ripped up the Pope. Hey, it made me uncomfortable.
She was wayfish and pretty and had a good voice and like wrote interesting. Like, yeah, you're right. She could have very easily skated as a pop star. Instead, she shaved her head. They got into all that. What that means. She wore boots, and she tore up the picture of the Pope and they get into all this. She grew up in Ireland, obviously, and was
You're just telling me about Sinead. What about the fucking movie?
The Catholic Church out there. Well, this is all in the movie. The Catholic Church out there is very omnipresent. Their presence is everywhere, and it's kind of an oppressive rule, at least back in the 80s when she was growing up, late 70s, early 80s, and so it was kind of done as protest, which turned out to be, I would say, almost completely justified, because that's all the spotlight stuff, right? The church abuses, which maybe a lot of people knew about in 1992, but Sinead was like, hey, they're no pun intended, they're fucking with children. You know what I mean? Like, this is not acceptable. Now,
so she's the original spotlight, is what you're saying.
There was a little, the one part of the movie I thought was unfair was when they kind of shined the light on SNL as like turning on her. And the truth is, it wasn't the message anyone had a problem with over at SNL. It was the fact that she didn't tell anyone what she was going to do. She brought a different picture to rehearsal.
Yeah.
I think it was like a picture of Saddam Hussein, or you know what I mean? Like she clearly set it up to be something else and then pulled a fast one. And it's like, bitch, we're going to get in huge trouble because of you. Like, you can go back off to Ireland and live your life. Like, we have to deal with the fallout of all this. So, like, where the, at least from SNL's point of view, where the controversy.
How was the movie? Was it a good movie?
It was good. Here's the problem
with you watching biographies, like music docs, is you just like recount what you learned about the actual subjects, which I don't give a fuck about. I just want to know if the movie was like well put together.
It is considering
it's like a book report.
The biggest, I hate to say it because it's out of their control, the biggest flaw of this movie. So the movie's, what do you know about Sinead O'Connor besides what I've already
Everything
said?
I just heard.
No, you know what was her biggest hit?
Nothing compares.
They didn't play the song.
That's the biggest problem you have with this.
Anderson, she's one of the most notable one-hit wonders.
All right, maybe they didn't have rights. I don't give a fuck. You're watching them. You're watching the goddamn documentary going, I hope they play the song that I can listen to right now on my phone.
I don't care about hearing the song, but the song that put her on the map, they just kind of alluded to it. And at the end, they do have a disclaimer that says the prince's estate would not allow us to use the song. And it's like, that's kind of the hook right there. Like, she's known, yes, for the controversy, but she's known for that song. She's primarily known for that song. It'd be like,
I'm so confused. I'm really genuinely confused.
The year that Corolla was on Dancing with the Stars, he was on with Monica Seles. And they never once alluded to the fact that, even mentioned the fact that she is most notable for being the fucking tennis player that was stabbed on the court.
No, she was known for being a great tennis player. The fact that it was a story that she got stabbed was because she was a famous tennis player as well.
There are many famous tennis players. How many female tennis players can you name?
Brian, did you see Thunder Road? Jim Cummings?
I did.
Were you furious that they didn't ever play Thunder Road, the song?
No. That's he sang the song.
Brian, no, he didn't. Remember,
he quoted the song.
Yeah, he quoted the song, but they didn't get rights, so the thing jammed in the beginning. And he didn't play the song.
I didn't care about that.
The fact that you're having such a hard time that they didn't play a song that you're familiar with, you know who the subject sang it, you can sing it in your head.
Please don't think that I just wanted to hear the song.
But you're like, I don't understand why it's making such a big difference to you.
The movie's called Nothing Compares. She is primarily known for this song.
It's a double entendre because nothing compares to her and what she did as a pop star.
That's true.
Yeah.
But as it stands, it's a single entendre.
Because they didn't play the song. What? She's no... I don't.
They spent time.
How
in the
is the production? How is the? Is that a Talking Head documentary? Are they using source footage?
Actually, you never see Sinead till the very, very end.
This kind of thing. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear like they didn't play the song.
Oh, you want to hear like how the movie was made? Actually, it was very impressive. It was all archival footage, and they didn't show Sinead until the very end. And you're like, oh, there she is,
Yeah. Not singing her song.
singing a different song.
Okay.
Not as satisfying.
I'm not going to get to my last movie, Brian, because
Good.
you went over.
Okay.
But
But
did they play the song at the end?
No, the song never makes. an
That's
appearance.
so unfortunate.
I had to
Goddamn
go. I had to
Prince.
go listen to it on my own.
So it was like a 4-star movie. Now it's 3 stars.
Yeah,
they didn't play the
buddy,
song.
it could have been 5 stars if the song was featured throughout.
Just constantly like, whenever they're talking anything about Sinead, you can just hear it underneath. You're a weird guy, Brian. You're a very strange
I'm really
man.
not.
You really are.
I think I represent the masses on this one.
I mean, it might be distractingly missing if that's what you're trying to say. Like you couldn't help but notice that it wasn't ever played.
No, that's
But is she
true.
a one-hit wonder? I mean, she had a lot of songs, right?
Can you name another song?
I couldn't name that one if it wasn't.
Oh,
the
that's
title.
not true.
I'm not the right guy to ask for this because I'm terrible. I didn't know that
Avery.
Thunder Road
Can you name another song by Sinead O'Connor?
No.
was
no,
a song.
No one can. No one. Sinead couldn't name another song.
All right, let's get out of here. Hey, next week we're assigned, Brian. 2 different movies. I'm
Oh, is
allowing
this
it.
the song? Oh,
It would've
Oh,
been
now
good.
now you got to pull that down. If Prince is going to allow it on
this is not it.
This is not it.
this is another one of our
Anderson.
songs. We are assigned by Ryan Regenball. Finally got back to me. Some of you guys are finally getting back to me. I try and reach out. I'm like, hey, we owe you a movie or two. What's it going to be? Finally hear from some of you this week. I'm going to be assigned a movie called Drag Me to Hell, Brian, which is a
Oh,
movie
yeah, I wanna
that
see
I
that.
objectively
Good.
avoided.
Good. Really?
You are not assigned that movie, though. We're assigned 2 different movies.
No.
Which I'm allowing.
I
yes.
actually wanna
You're
see that.
assigned
What?
Sorcerer.
What?
Sorcerer.
I want to see Drag Me to
Brian,
Hell.
well,
I'm saying Drag Me to Hell.
Brian.
I've been wanting to see it for years.
Oh, you can do that and Sorcerer if you like. How about that? You can watch this with me and then get to Sorcerer when you get to it. I'm telling you this, though. Sorcerer, you will be so happy you saw Sorcerer. I didn't see it until just maybe a year ago. It is the most white-knuckle ride I've ever been through with a movie.
I don't know if I want to see
The most white-knuckle ride I've been through with a movie. It's William Friedkin just crushing it.
Why can't I see Drag Me to Hell?
Unrated version. It's got to be the unrated version because
Well,
I'd
it's
already
not
seen
the- who
Sorcerer.
says-
He
who says-
assigned a Sorcerer. I'm like, I saw it, Ryan, but I'm very excited Brian's finally going to be seeing it because it's a great fucking movie, Sorcerer is. And he's like, all right, you watch Drag Me to Hell unrated. And I said, I'll allow it. I'll allow it. That's what I said.
I really want to see
And I said,
it.
as long as the song Drag Me to Hell is featured throughout, I think I'm going to enjoy it.
Is there a song?
Sure there is. Of course there is.
God, I've wanted to see this for years.
You can watch it with me, all right? Just watch Sorcerer. You're just going to owe Sorcerer down the road. You got to watch Sorcerer, Brian. You got to watch it.
I'll figure it out.
You seen Sorcerer over there?
I need to.
Wages
Just
of
the-
Fear?
Just the Mando episode.
There's a Mandalorian episode, and then the one before that is I have not seen that one either. Wages of Fear. All right, let's get out of here. I'll talk to you, to all of you about Puss in Boots next week.
Just to tease to our next episode, the top 5 Revolties, the Revolties worst films we've seen this year. I will be flickfessing an additional film in that episode.
What? Oh, because
Yes.
it's on the Revolt.
That's right.
Yeah, you know what? I had a few, but I'm like, I'm not going to do that because it's like that analogy that I use, Brian. Forgive me because I've done this before, but it's like seeking out tiny little movies that no one's heard of, and then I just absolutely hate them. I don't want to shine a negative light on that
This
because
is
no one's
not-
going to find them. You
This
know what I
is
mean?
not- This is not a tiny film.
So it's like walking down like a side street and finding a tiny little hole in the wall restaurant, and it's just awful. And you gotta go out and tell all your friends how bad that little restaurant is that they'll never come across. No, I don't want to
Yeah.
do that.
We're trying, people.
So all the movies that I have on my list are movies that I talked about on the program already that probably deserve a little abuse.
All right. Fair enough. All right, hold on. Notes.
So yeah, I'll be talking about Puss in Boots with you next week, Brian.
You
okay?
son of a bitch.
Next week I'll talk about a middling movie
next
called
week.
Puss in Boots.
I'll think of the next episode.
He likes his just
Puss.
Gaspato.
You fucking.
Gazpacho.
You know, if you saw it, you loved it. There's no
I saw
reason You loved it.
I saw it, Brian.
You
We'll talk
loved
about
it.
it next
You
week.
loved it.
There's some of it that's very good.
You loved it.
There's like
I'm not gonna
there's
stand up
some
for this slander.
Some of it very good. Some of it's very good. I give you that. What was it on your list? Number 2?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I might watch it again. Who was it that hates to agree with? It pains him.
You know
It
what?
pains
You would have
him,
liked
baby.
Shazam because it's fun. Shazam's a fun movie.
It is.
It might make your list next year.
I'd have to.
It might make your Volties.
Might have to catch up with it.
What are you doing with your fun list? You know how many emails I got from listeners? Texts I
don't-
got from friends?
I don't care about that.
Well, you should.
Why?
Hurting the show.
I
That's
didn't
not
hear about
fun.
that.
He doesn't want to hear the unfun text.
The idea that you can't see a movie like Tar and find that fun because it's such masterful
Tar is not
filmmaking.
fun.
It's fun.
Tar's
And when
a lot of
when you're
things.
looking at how great it is, like
stop.
it makes the hair stand up on your neck, much like Puss in Boots.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Danny Leffler, for assigning us Ginger Snaps. She is part of the signer level over on Patreon. If you want to join, patreon.com/thefilmvault.
I did get a lot of emails from people saying, Anderson, you sound stupid for saying that Puss in Boots is a waste of time. It's very good. You should watch it. And I'm like, it's Brian's number 2.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
loved
second
it. I
best
really
movie that
enjoyed
Brian,
it.
second best movie
was
that Brian
really,
saw in
really
2022.
It was really fun.
So fun that you went back and watched the Ridge?
No, not that fun.
You don't want more of the Puss in Boots?
I heard the original was only okay.
The Puss in Boots. But
Mhm.
now you love.
I'll probably catch up with it, honestly. Thanks, Fabrizio and The Fever. They are our featured artists this week. AndersonandBrian.com is where you go for more information on them. Anderson and Brian is the Instagram. Anderson and Brian is the TikTok. YouTube, the aforementioned YouTube with the Film Vaults podcast. Apparently there is the Film Vaults on YouTube, and they haven't updated in nigh over a decade.
Oh, there is one called The Film Vault?
Yeah, that's why I wrote the Film Vault podcast. Don't be mistaken by imitators.
Yeah, just click on the link. There's always great show notes, guys. You just even
It actually looks really good. I'm going to watch it during the next episode.
if you want a free, yeah, you probably will. If you want a free ticket to the
Oh,
Lucha,
yeah,
in,
Lucha.
in Florida, go down there and email Rand.
Thanks for all of our Patreon listeners. Thank you, Gio, Mitch Burns, Mike Cole, and Eric Kath for the excellent work you're doing over there on YouTube. Addie's Antiques continues to post stuff all the time, I know, because I get alerts, and it's annoying. Check it out over on Facebook. Avery, got a gig coming up?
I do. I've got a gig. It's going to be at the Belmont this Thursday at 8 p.m.
Long Beach?
Where is the Belmont?
The Belmont is on La Cienega.
Oh,
Not Belmont Shores.
I've been to the Belmont.
Yeah.
It's like near your... Okay.
Yeah, nice little bar.
Yeah,
So you can get tickets. You can check out my profile at Avery Comedy on Instagram, and yeah, come see me live.
there you go. Avery Comedy on Instagram. And until next time,
We do it for Van Gogh.
Like a shooting star, shining bright, lighting up the night. We're gonna rock it till we get